Welcome everyone to the HR Green Room, the place where people, culture and a couple of splashes of green come together. We're your hosts. I'm James Proctor, Chief Operating Officer at Phase 3.
And I'm Louise Johnston, Head of Customer Success at Phase 3.
And together we lift the curtain on the world of HR with fresh ideas, honest conversations and a few surprises along the way as well. Each episode will ask what makes us green with envy, what deserves the green light, and what we want to discuss in the world of HR. And of course, we'll be joined by some incredible guests as we are today. So grab a seat. The show is about to start in the HR Green Room. So we're back. Welcome, Marilyn. Welcome, Leisha.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks.
So today we're going to be talking all things International Women's Day and some of the accreditations that we've got at Phase 3. But we always start when we invite guests to the podcast by asking you to give us your still a moment. So what's your name? Where do you come from? What's your job? What do you do?
I'm Marilyn and I head up the Quality Assurance and Governance team at Phase 3. My background is not in HR, so I'm not going to claim to be an HR expert. Never have done and never will do. I've got over 40 years experience in local government, so I had my first taste of HR after doing many things like corporate projects, and I got to implement a HR and payroll system at a local authority I was working at. And I think it was at that point in time when I realised somebody doesn't press a button to get paid.
Is that payroll? Yeah, payroll's the press of a button.
Yeah. I realised when I was doing reconciliations of parallel runs and things like that, that there's a lot more goes into it. But I'm not going to claim to be a payroll expert anyway. I joined Phase 3 after that big project about 9 years ago. Yeah, I've been here 9 years in April. Yeah. And I was really surprised because someone once said to me, "You've got local government stamped through you like Blackpool Rock."
That's quite true, actually, knowing you.
And I didn't realise what they meant at the time, but I suppose that's because I didn't know anything else, didn't know anything any different. So it was a huge culture shock coming to Phase 3 and moving into the private sector, but in a nice way and something that I've never regretted. So now at Phase 3, my team looks after things like audit and compliance, business improvement, data analytics, and HR, of course. Hence, Leisha being here with me today.
Right, Leisha, give us your still a moment. What's your name? Where do you come from? What do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Leisha Hurley. I'm HR coordinator at Phase 3. My own background is actually in psychology, and that's what I studied at university, and then always had a passion for business as well. So I kind of thought, how do I apply that knowledge in a business setting? And I realised HR is actually quite a good way of doing that. So then when I started working, I started off in agency recruitment. That was quite, fast paced. It was very sales oriented. And I realised, human resources is more where my niche is. And then started working at Phase 3 3 years ago and have gotten some really, really good experience here.
Wow,
I know. Hard to believe. Yeah. Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say you are the front door to the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. You see everybody before everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my main role is talent acquisition and making sure we bring the right people into Phase 3 and making sure that they feel welcomed along the way. So.
And do an amazing job at it. Yeah. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah. So we always ask our guests to tell us something that happened back when you were green. So when you were first starting out or when you started something new, for example, it might be something funny you remember, a mistake you made, a situation you were in that you didn't think you'd find yourself in. So any ideas, Marilyn, about back when you were green?
Yeah, it's like I said, because I'm not from a HR background, it's more of not a mistake or an event, but just something I learned from. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what I just said about thinking payroll's really straightforward. And but it's like when I was first doing a reconciliation of a parallel run, and we'd got these E's and O's things to look at. And I kept thinking, E's and O's? What's E's and O's? But then when somebody explained to me, and then I took great delight in telling somebody what E's and O's was when they didn't know it. So it's those little things that you learn from, and you're learning how complex HR and payroll can be.
Yeah. And that's a great example. And Leisha, anything new?
Yes, I think same as Marilyn, it wasn't, a specific event or anything, but more just a learning curve in the world of HR is that you don't want to try and be good at absolutely everything when it comes to HR. It's such a broad area, and there's so many things that you can, specialize in. So I think finding your niche, finding what you're good at, and sticking to that, making that your thing, I think is a good way forward.
I think one other thing I did learn is that when you ask a question in payroll, it's always black or white. But when you ask a question in HR, it can be, that depends.
Never black and white, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I think you two have both been very brave, shall we say. I shared what I did wrong when I was green, if you remember, and I worked in a similar role to you at the time, and I rejected all of the candidates that the manager wanted to interview and invited to interview all the ones that the manager didn't want to see. So yeah, I had a very angry police officer at my desk.
It's good though, you put it all down to experience,
exactly,
don't you?
yeah, you chalk up, you learn from
the
these
best,
things.
yeah.
There's lots of things in HR and payroll that you'll do once and you will never ever make that mistake again, aren't there? And
Absolutely.
yeah, that for me was one of them. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about whilst you guys are here, because you've been heavily involved in it for us at Phase 3, and we want to kind of take that knowledge and share it with people outside, is all about International Women's Day. And in particular, what your plans are this year for us internally, and how will we be marking it at Phase 3 this year?
Well, there's always a theme for International Women's Day, and this year it's Gift to Gain. So we will be focusing on what we do as a company in terms of promoting what the women in our company do and what we get from that. So as in previous years, what we're going to do is we'll be inviting colleagues in, we'll be decorating the office, but we'll do what we've done previously in terms of getting colleagues to vote for the most inspirational woman or that they believe in the company, and it gives someone that chance to be recognised for what they do on a day-to-day basis, often without realising what they're giving and what someone's gaining from that support or just listening to someone. So I think it's really important that, people do vote for the colleagues, and it's really nice to be recognised in that environment.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds fantastic because it came up actually a while ago with one of our colleagues who might make an appearance on here one day, Emma, just a general conversation that I was having with her. Obviously, we love to talk. And it was nice to be able to recognise that a conversation that didn't actually mean that much to Emma actually meant the world to me. Yeah. So when I had the chance to let her know about that, it makes everybody feel good. You say that give to gain, because she didn't even realise the impact that she made on my life actually outside of Phase 3. So I'm looking forward to the chance to vote again for colleagues and see all the wonderful things that we've got to say about each other.
It's really nice as well because when we do those nominations, like the Phase 3 annual awards that we have, you guys always share all of the feedback that everybody had with those people. So even if you don't win, you know you've been nominated and you also know everything lovely that people said about you. And it's really nice. I'm privileged that I've been asked to host those awards for the last few years, in terms of actually presenting them and some of the feedback that the people get in the business. And it's really important to say as well that the feedback that both men and women give to people on International Women. This isn't a thing for the females in the business that only the females contribute. So there's very much a massive contributions from the males in the organisation as well in terms of where they found people inspirational as well throughout the year.
Yeah. And I know last year I hosted it because you weren't around.
I was remote, wasn't I, that day?
And I'd won an award the previous year. So I felt quite privileged to be able to do it last year, to give it to someone else. And like you say, it's just amazing, some of the comments that people make. So being able to read them, not just about yourself, but then to be able to read them out to other people that are getting an award, it's amazing. Yeah.
And what are some of the things that we've done that's had the most positive feedback overall internally? We've done a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, there've been a lot of things. I think in general, we're quite supportive, whether it's through policies, processes. I think a lot of the benefits that we offer, such as, unlimited annual leave, we offer, very good maternity, paternity, adoption leave, paid time off if you've a child who's ill, flexible working, everything like that. So I think those things really do make a difference every day.
Yeah.
And they're not just token gestures, they're genuine everyday supportive moves.
I actually saw one of our employees on LinkedIn has something on there, that the tagline underneath your name, and it says passionate about work-life balance, and they're fairly new to their business, and I thought that's the kind of person we're attracting because we offer all of these benefits and the flexibility. Yeah, no, it's really interesting, and I think it's important for us all. And we know the feedback we constantly get is that flexibility is actually the thing that really does help us. And you, in terms of talent acquisition, finding people that want that flexibility and will give it in return, because that's ultimately key as well.
100%.
So what about things that we've done in terms of accreditations and things like that? There are obviously awareness days. I think yesterday I saw on LinkedIn it was International Ginger Day. Now we didn't have an event for that. But what other things and kind of accreditations have we done that you think are important for us?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that we've done in the past year has been our menopause friendly accreditation.
Yeah.
We got that through Henpicked last September. And yeah, that's been a really, really, big achievement. It kind of showed that it's not just, informal gestures, it's actual practical support that we're giving to people. And it's changed things in a lot of ways. It's changed the culture in the sense that people feel a lot more comfortable talking about not just menopause, but general women's health or any health issues in general. And yeah, it's been really, really good for people, and the feedback we've gotten has been really good.
Yeah.
I think when we were talking about it just yesterday, I said to Leisha, throughout my working life, I've seen a real change, a real shift in this sort of thing. Because, 20 years ago, it wasn't something that you ever talked about in the workplace. And even some friends of mine now, they're amazed at what we've done at Phase 3 because we're not a huge company, and I've got friends that work in large companies where this is not even thought about. They won't go there because they're not comfortable with it. Whereas I think at Phase 3, we've really embraced it. And those like lunchtime drop-in sessions, for example, they're not just attracting females and people that are at that stage in their lives. It's people that are maybe younger, want to learn about it. People like me being there can share their experiences. So it's been really all embracing, hasn't it? Including everybody, if you want to get involved.
Yeah, I think for me, kind of as the token male on the show today, the thing that it really helped with was somebody would say something to me and I wouldn't necessarily knew what it meant or the impact, what that was. So last week somebody said to me, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a brain fog day. And they shared previously that they were going through the menopause. And it was easier for me then to be able to say, right, what can I do to support you then? In terms of this thing that we're doing together now, do we need to postpone it? Do you want to go and take a break? Or do we need to plow on through?
Yeah.
And it opened up the conversation to be able to have the conversation much easier rather than that person kind of struggling in silence with it. And
yeah, because I think what we've got to remember as well is not everybody is in a fortunate position to have family or friends, partners, children that understand what they're going through at that point in time. So work might be the safe place for them to talk about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah, I think it makes total sense. And in terms of the accreditation process, like what did you actually have to do?
Leisha.
Yeah, so it was quite a rigorous process for us. It wasn't just a matter of weeks or months. It took years almost. Myself and my colleague Chloe, we had to do a lot of things. We had to implement a menopause policy. We had to do like a menopause guidance sheet, training for managers, like lunch and learn sessions for colleagues. That's how we founded the Menopause Champions group. So essentially what that is, it's a voluntary group that, people can join if they wish. They don't necessarily have to be going through it themselves. But it's like a monthly drop-in session that we have. People can join as and when they please. And, it's just sort of a support platform and somewhere for us all to talk. So, yeah, it took us quite a while, but we got there in the end.
Yeah. I have to say, it's been fantastic because when you mentioned earlier, Marilyn, about what you've seen throughout your career, obviously women's rights, empowerment, etc., we have come an awfully long way. I was talking earlier about the film Made in Dagenham, and it's amazing that we enjoy these rights today that women have fought for in the past. But interestingly, there's still a long way to go, isn't there? And how fortunate we are that the team have opened up these opportunities for people to be able to talk about, like you say, women's health, what you go through, the menopause. We're very fortunate that we can have these open and honest conversations, because I think I've mentioned it maybe even before on this podcast. James employs me as a human, as a person. We're not robots.
No.
You've got things going on in your life in the background. So it's great that we've got these platforms where people can come and talk.
I think we collectively should be proud of the fact that at our organisation we do champion those things. We've got Disability Confident we've done as well in terms of that accreditation. We've been through that process. We've done things to support people with neurodivergency as well, mental health challenges. There's been a lot that we've done. I know we've got coming up on the list soon Fertility Confident as well, which is sort of the next step to this, and that kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to ask about. Obviously we have these days, World Mental Health Day, International Women's Day, and obviously they are important in terms of recognising and remembering, but what can businesses do beyond the days to actually support females in the organisation?
I think we're doing that already in terms of like the menopause friendly accreditation. We've not sort of said, well, that's it then. We'll move on to something else. It's making it part of the culture. It's real, it's there, it's not going to go away, and we can only build on what we've already done. So I don't know, Alicia, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I think policies is huge, policies is what we go by every day and how processes are formed. So I think, having the unlimited time off, the parental leave, paid time off for IVF, for example, I think little things like that is, what people appreciate and what really gets used. And
especially if you don't necessarily want to share that that's what's happening, to know that you can do that without having to share. I think unlimited leave for us does, I suppose, mask some of those things, because people can take the day off for egg transfers, for example, and things like that, and you wouldn't necessarily need to know, but it gives you the option to be able to do that. But the paid time off for it as well also gives you the opportunity to share what's going on at work. And I know when we were going through our IVF treatment, I only told people at work. We didn't tell people at home. And at work it was that safe space, because you're governed by policy. You've got the support around you in terms of what needs to happen, but you're not as emotionally involved.
No.
And I think that's something that can really help from a workplace perspective as well, that we have that responsibility and that caring kind of situation between us. But there's not that emotional investment, and you're able to take that step back. So I think, from a policy perspective, that's something that we can all learn from in terms of how we can encourage that open communication on those kind of things.
And I think, like you say as well, it is, we have got the policies, but we've got a very supportive environment as well at Phase 3.
It's a culture.
As a culture.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And then in terms of resources that are available, what should people be looking for in terms of resources that can support them with implementing this in their own business? Like, how did you find Menopause Friendly, for example? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so I think for Menopause, we went, as mentioned, through Henpicked, and they've been, absolutely brilliant. We, had a lot of questions for them during the accreditation process, and they were helpful every step of the way. So that was a really, really good opportunity for us.
You've done something in the past as well. You did Springboard with Phase 3, didn't you?
Yeah. Do you know, I forgot about that. That's awful. I have to shout out to Becky and Gemma, because I'm still friends with them now. So Springboard was a platform for women in business. And we had 4 full-day sessions. And it was just so interesting to meet different women from different walks of life, all different ages, different backgrounds, different jobs, and to understand that even though we're all on our individual paths, there's something in a shared experience and understanding some of the challenges that we've had. I mean, in a previous job, not at Phase 3, I would definitely add, I've had situations where I felt quite silly, quite patronised, and I do believe that some of that was because I was a young female. Obviously, I've grown up a little bit now, but it's something that, James, you probably wouldn't understand
Yeah.
what that feels like.
Yeah.
And I can't describe it, but I think Alicia and Marilyn, you just know that feeling that I'm being patronised for a certain reason here. But it's that shared experience. And through Springboard, we made some really strong, solid friendships, talking about our experiences, what we've learned from them, and strategies as well of how to cope in certain situations and where to go if you needed help. So I think there's a lot of support out there for people. Women's development courses, women's rights. I feel very privileged to be, I suppose, alive at this sort of point in time where we can see the history through the 50s, 60s, 70s up to current day, where, like I said earlier, we enjoy the benefits, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Alicia and I were talking about this earlier when we were saying about without our SLT meeting. We said, well, just goes to show, like at phase 3, we're evenly split on SLT. There's 4 females, 4 males.
Yeah.
And that's not because we think we should be. We've just got those people around that table together and it works well.
Yeah.
Same with, you were talking about generally across phase 3.
What is our
I
split?
think it's,
Is it pretty even? It feels like it is.
Yeah.
but-
it is now, I think.
There are more women than men.
Yeah.
in phase
Okay.
3. So yeah, we are
are
in the
not
lead.
There was a time,
Yeah.
it wasn't that way, wasn't it?
But yeah, I think we were actually speaking about this today. Maybe part of that is down to the flexibility that we offer and
Yeah.
the policies that we have. I think that actually attracts women in some senses as well. So, and mothers and caregivers, etc. So yeah, I think
We're very
good.
blessed to have such supportive
Yeah.
management. No matter what the situation is, whether you're male, female, I think we are lucky that we've got that support. So if something happens at home, no matter what it is, the support's there to talk to your manager in confidence and be able to have the time off that you might need, or just be signposted. I know, like with the mental health first aid training, it's just being able to be signposted. So if there was something where James thought, actually, I can't help you here, but I know that someone in the mental health first aiders you can signpost us to the right place. And that's really meaningful as well, that people have got that support no matter what the situation is.
Yeah. And well-being platforms in general. I mean, we have Perkbox, we have the EAP, we have the Wellness Centre as well, don't we? So again, we are quite fortunate in terms of those extra bits and pieces that were offered as well. And paid time off for parental leave. I mean, I saw a post on LinkedIn last week where there was a lady who was pregnant and she was actively not telling any prospective employer that she was pregnant because she felt it was going to hinder her chances of getting a job. And I think we've had, I want to say 3 people now who've joined us and within a few months gone off on maternity leave. And we still pay them.
Yeah.
Our policies don't change just because they're new. And when they do come back, they are the best people to have in the team. And that's why we hired them.
I remember us hiring someone that was actually on maternity leave.
Yeah. And didn't start for 6
didn't
months.
start
Yeah.
for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we are coming towards the end of our episode time now, so we've got something to ask that we usually ask in terms of this podcast. So Louise, we'll start with you. Is there anything that you want to give the green light to? Maybe something we've spoken about today, but an idea, something that you want to encourage either others to do or you want to do at phase 3?
I think just continuing the green light on empowerment. So recognising how far we've come, but also getting that balance right in terms of men, women, they're complementary opposites. So the green light on encouraging each other, regardless of background, who you are, opening up those conversations and being confident enough to talk about anything that's affecting you in the workplace and not being judged for it.
Amazing. Yeah. Marilyn, have you got a green light idea?
Well, it's something that I think, what we're already doing at phase 3, but I think it really does deserve a green light, and that's the enablement pathways that we've rolled out, both for our consultants and for the enablement team. So those development pathways have been really well received across the business. And what it's meant is that it's showing our commitment to pupils' development and then that progression that comes with it.
Yeah.
And we've seen that firsthand. So for me, it's a real green light for phase 3 that, you know, it's really worked wonders across the business.
So solid development
Yeah,
plans and
absolutely.
career pathways,
Yeah.
trajectory. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And HR people are often
Yeah.
thinking
It's-
about how they can do
Yeah,
that. So.
it's been really well planned and well received.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Leisha, you got a green light that you want to give?
Yeah, so I think obviously following this conversation and, you know, discussing the benefits that we have at phase 3 is the fact that phase 3 are growing. You know, we're always recruiting, we're always looking for new people. So if you are interested in joining us,
It's a plug.
I have used it as a little,
I think that's a really
Yeah,
good
give the
green
green
light.
light.
Yeah.
yeah, join phase 3, you
The
know.
lime green team.
Exactly. So yeah, check out the Join Us page on our website and get in touch.
Amazing. Well, my green light idea is basically for all of our teams to just continue doing what we're doing in terms of this stuff. It is so important. Culture is important. That recognition that you mentioned, encouraging each other irrespective of our differences and challenging each other as well, I think at times is really important. So yeah, I think that's it. It's been a really interesting episode. So thank you, ladies, for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Having
Yeah,
us.
it's been really insightful. And I'm sure we'll have you back at some point in the future as well.
Okay.
So that's all we've got time for today. Thank you everybody for joining us, and subscribe, check out the links below and leave any comments if there's things that you want to discuss in future. And until next time, keep giving the green light to the things that matter the most.